producer. Um, and initially got involved with Patchwerk pretty much, well, it was a goal. It started out as a goal. Like, I felt like if I started doing work at Patchwerk, then, you know, I arrived somewhere. It was a milestone that I've achieved. So my career started with Camouflage in Savannah in 2000, and you know, up to that point, I had just been studying Patchwerk and calling Kurt and getting prices and all that. Took me on a tour and all that. So when Camouflage came around in 2000, that was the first opportunity that I had to actually come here. Matter of fact, I sat in this very lounge right here waiting on the room to clean up for us to go in. And that was my first experience with Patchwerk, and I've never wanted to work at any other studio. This is my main, I call it the house. Patchwerk was official because, you know, at the time, music was still recorded on 2-inch tape. So if you made it to 2-inch tape, you pretty much, you know, you were doing the same thing Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, the Temptations, you know, anybody in Stevie Wonder, anybody in music history, you're doing what they doing now because they record on 2-inch tape, you know. So Patchwerk was, you know, coming from where I came from, you know, recording in the closet and, you know, stuff like that, buying little 4-track and 8-track recorders to do your music. You know, once you got into an actual studio where you didn't have to have all the chords, they provide you the chords. There's an engineer for you. You don't have to do all your own recording and all that. You know, once you get to that kind of level, you feel like professionally I have arrived. I'm doing the same thing the elites do, and that was I set that as a goal because, you know, that was a goal to reach. Recording in an actual full functioning, everything is done for you studio. You know, you need a certain chord, we got that. You know what I'm saying? So, and then to watch the tape spin and the board, you know, the big board, and you know, all the real studios have the big board. You know, the smaller studios, we don't have enough channels and all that, you know. So you got plenty channels here. You got the big board in 9000, and you got a mini big board in 995. So between the two, it's like, just take your pick. Either one's gonna work. There's qualified people that know what they're doing here, and sometimes doing music, there's a particular sound that you might be looking for, and if you're recording at home, you might not be able to get that sound because you just don't have certain equipment that's going to get you that sound. You know, even though a lot of stuff is still done in the box, me, I'm a gearhead. I love equipment, technology. The way I see a lot of the new technology, it's a gift and a curse. And Patchwerk is up to date on the newer technology, but they still keep vintage stuff around. And I still like to use vintage for certain sounds. So Patchwerk is just a place, you know, if you need a certain sound, you need some crunchiness in your vocal, you can get that. You're not gonna get that doing it at home unless you have a budget where you can put that kind of stuff in your house, you know. So, you know, it's a multi-million-dollar studio. So if there's anything that you need to achieve a certain kind of sound, you're gonna get it here. If you have a $700,000 console at your house and you don't have Mike or any of the other engineers that come through Patchwerk, you're still not gonna be getting a pristine sound. You know, I see a lot of guys that claim to be engineers / producers, you know, trying to wear a lot of hats, and basically they just use templates. They use settings that somebody might have saved for them, but depending on who the person is, each individual has a different voice. Each producer works a different kind of way. So when you come, you know, if you're using settings, if you're recording, say, Michael Jackson, there's a certain kind of setting that his voice, you have to tweak for his voice. Compression's going to be different. The microphone that he uses is going to be different. And then you might have Barry White, completely different dynamic in the voice. So that means the settings are going to change. You know, Barry's voice is a little heavier. He may need to use another mic that doesn't cater to the bass in his voice. And you have to, you know, a place like Patchwerk is going to know that, and they're going to have the mic to accompany with whatever voice that it is, you know, is in that session. And a lot of major artists are really particular about that. They come in, like R. Kelly records here a lot, and Kells uses the Sony mic. If you don't have the Sony mic, he ain't coming here. You know what I mean? So Mariah Carey uses the Sony mic. A lot of R&B singers use the Sony mic. A lot of rappers use the Neumann mic. You know what I mean? So you got to know the difference in voice structure, voice texture. You know, a lot of that stuff makes a difference. And that also separates records that go on to be, you know, huge records versus records that, you know, attain minimal success. I mean, it seems like a small thing, but really it's not. It's a huge thing, and it makes a world of difference in the art of recording. Another reason that Patchwerk just stands out. This is the house. I joke around with Mike and Kurt all the time about, you know, knocking out a room for me, just so I can put a bed in it and wake up and go to work. The environment, it's a family environment here. Like, it really feels like family. You know, if I'm not working, it's a place that I can just come, you know, talk to Kurt, talk to Mike, talk to whoever's working at the front desk, go down in the mastering room, talk to Kenny, go in one of the rooms, and if one of my engineers that I use is working, just kick it with him. You know, D, Corey, Luther, Staffa, you know, so, you know, you see I'm calling everybody out by first name, so it's really a family environment here. So as a producer or artist, you want to be in an environment that feels like that. You know, it's essential to the recording. If you're comfortable, the music is better. You know, if you're uptight and things are just not right, and, you know, you tend to be a little, you're not as loose, and you're a little more agitated. You might lash out at your engineer a little bit, and, you know, stuff like that, you know. And being in a friendly environment like that, it eases that, you know. Especially when you know, in this business we work with different egos, different personalities, and stuff like that. And the people that work here to make it better for us, they got to be able to, you know, really endure that, you know, because it's you know, in this business that we're in, man, I'm just keep it real for the camera. It's a lot of assholes in this business, man. Egotistic maniacs, you know what I'm saying? So you got to really be cut from a certain kind of cloth to deal with that. And a lot of the Patchwerk employees, engineers from the front office on down, you know, it's a certain type of quality that everybody that works here has. So that's why it's an environment that you love being in.